Hi guys, I just wanted to speak a little bit about the 5 day freedom challenge I'm running from the 17th to the 21st of August. A lot of the stuff I post about this is only going out to anyone I have on emails and anyone I have on Instagram, which it's not ideal for anyone who's only following me on YouTube. So that's why I wanted just to set up here, answer a few questions if anyone happens to pop on. But this stream will be posted whether you see it live or whether you see it afterwards. And if you have any questions about it, then just pop in a comment. The main premise of the 5 day challenge is it's not to make any miraculous changes within that period. It's actually just to prove to yourself that improvement is possible. And when you have the level of accountability, support, and structure that you will receive within those 5 days, you'd be quite surprised how much progress you make. And I want you to be anchored to that experience. So having an experience where you have a personalized program for the challenge you wish to overcome, which is something we'll discover as soon as you claim your spot. Let's say, for example, it's an ankle injury, something I spoke about today. If you want to check out the video on that, if you're having ankle difficulties, we're going to personalize an ankle plan for you and see where you get to within a 5 day period. Obviously, there are going to be strength movements there. There are going to be some elements of stretching that we want to look at more specifically. And it's just mainly going to be suited to your lifestyle. So let's say if you're working intensely in a job, we're not going to plow you with movements by the end of the day because that's simply not sustainable. We want to do it in a sustainable fashion because, guys, you don't actually need as much time as you need. You don't need as much time as you think you do to actually make progress here. And as I said, that's all we're looking for. We just want to get progress and get momentum. So that's going to be what the 5 day challenge is all about. There are still slots available. That's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing the live. I expect them all to be filled up by the 15th of August before kicking off on the 17th of August. All right. I'll probably look to do another one of these streams before that, perhaps every week. Perhaps even on the build up, I might do two. But it's important to get in as early as you can because once you sign up, you'll get access to the Move Forever Foundations programs. So if we go back to the ankle for a moment, if you wanted to do some work on the ankle before the challenge even starts, there'll be so many resources for you to do that. That means by the time the challenge comes around, you'll already have momentum. And then when the challenge comes around, that's all going to be personalized to you. The foundation programs are excellent, but they're not going to be tailored to you in the same way the 5 day challenge will be. Hopefully that's making sense. If there's anyone watching live, you can actually throw in a comment there if you want me to clarify anything. And there are going to be people around the world doing it. So of course, it's not going to be in person. If you're subscribed to this channel, you're probably not living where I'm living in Ireland, and therefore we can't do it in person. That is something I would love to do at some point, but this is all going to be online, and that's important too, because I still feel in this day and age, people have this idea that you can't make as much progress online as in person. And there's certainly advantages and disadvantages to both. Sometimes when you're online, you're just so much more self-sufficient and flexible that it's easier to get the time in to do it, even if it is 10 to 20 minutes a day. Whereas in person, you have to be at a certain place at a certain time. And oftentimes in person, you never learn the skills to do it on your own. You're always having your held hand, or sorry, you're always having someone hold your hand throughout the whole process. So there are advantages and disadvantages of both. Of course, in person, you also get to see really detail what the person is doing. And because the challenge is online, I'm really encouraging everyone to ask plenty of questions, because only by knowing your situation super specifically can I give you super specific suggestions. And that's often down to the individuals. So that's a disadvantage if someone's inexperienced. They need a bit more self-sufficiency. So that's what I want to train people in. Train them to like look out for the cues they need for their particular challenge. So if it's a knee, there are going to be certain goals we work towards within the knee. Bend is one of them. Like we want to increase the knee bend gradually, if that is your specific challenge, and train them to do it in a healthy way. So, like I said in the beginning of this call, it's long-lasting changes we're looking for. So it's not going to be 5 days and your injury disappears, or whatever you're tight in or weak in disappears. It's about setting the foundations in order for you to eventually strengthen that area, which you will. Look, you'll make progress within the 5 days, but it's more to set the frame for a longer lasting change. All right. That is the intention. And once you realize the amount of momentum that you can generate within that 5 days, the whole message and what you'll see in our group chat, it's going to be people saying, oh my God, like what can I experience if I keep on doing this for a longer duration of time? Because look, it doesn't take 5 days, it doesn't take even 5 weeks. If you want it to last as long as you want it to last, and you want it to be a part of your lifestyle, if you want to continue doing some of the activities that are important to you well into your later years, it's about incorporating certain strength protocols into your daily routine. And I'm also getting a lot of questions, not right here, but since I began, people might message me on Instagram or email asking, and it's a perfectly appropriate question. Can I do this if I have osteoarthritis? Can I do this if I have had a prior surgery? I might need to get a hip replacement soon. Can I do it? And the answer to all those questions is no matter what the condition, you can still make improvements. Muscles are adaptable. And yes, it is important that we do it at a level that's appropriate for you. Of course, the golden rule there is we don't want to push through pain during any of these movements. If you're feeling pain, and this is going to be made crystal clear from the beginning, if you are feeling pain during any of the movements, we've gone too far. Pain is a signal from the body that we are doing too much too soon. So it's always in any given exercise, go to the point before the point of pain and progress from there, because that sensation where you go to the point before the point of pain, it's called healthy stress. And it's the same sensation you would create if you did a lot of push-ups. It's not pain, it's fatigue, and it's going to allow the area to grow and to repair. That's how you build muscle. That's also how you recover from certain injuries. That's how you turn weakness into strength. And that is our intention for the challenge. And that can happen regardless of if you have those three examples: osteoarthritis, hip replacements, a prior surgery. There's always improvements you can make. And that's the whole premise of the challenge, making improvements. It's not about reversing those things. It's not making those things disappear, but it is about adapting the mind and saying, hey, these things are happening, but these things don't have to be a lifelong burden. There are so many things you can do despite these things being realities. There's no denial that these are things. Like osteoarthritis is a way of understanding what happens within the knee or joint when cartilage begins to deteriorate. But that's not to say that you can create a lot of freedom in your life that you may not have now if that is bothering you. One example I like to refer back to is the fact that a bone-on-bone knee that's said to be heavily arthritic doesn't always have to be a painful knee. In a lot of cases, yes, it will be a painful knee, but I can't bring up the study here, but there are numerous research papers that show that, yes, you may be bone on bone, but that's not to indicate that you cannot make improvements. There are so many things you can do for a knee in that case. If we call it a knee, you can straighten the quad, you can straighten the hamstring, you can make all those areas more mobile, you can strengthen your core, you can make your posture healthier for you specifically. And with that said, it's about finding as many of those things to improve on as possible for your specific challenge, which we will personalize for you, and then seeing how much progress you can make within a 5-day period, and then giving you the tools to go beyond that 5 days. All right. So I just want to equip you with that and leave you with a really strong experience of I can at the end of it. So I want you believing that you can, because I'm inviting people in here. Generally when I'm working with somebody one-on-one, it's not going to work unless they're bought in and they're saying, hey, I believe I can get the work done here. I believe I can make a change. Whereas here, I'm actually inviting people in who are on the fence, because oftentimes someone who's on the fence never gets that push off the fence to say, "Hey, how about you just try this? How about you just have a taste of what this can offer you?" You can always get back on the fence. It's not a case of once you're off the fence, you're off. You can just have a try at this, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But it's certainly worth trying. It's certainly worth asking yourself what you may be saying no to. And it's only 5 days. It's only 5 days, and I know you're going to come away with something valuable from it, even if you don't come away with everything you thought you come in for. And look, if you commit everything, if you do everything you're assigned, you will come away with a lot. What you give is what you will get back from this 5 day freedom challenge. But at the very minimum, you come away with a few tools that you can use. Maximum, you'll transform the way you move and feel. So that's all I'm going to say about that today, guys. You can comment on the stream and I'll get right back to you even after it's recorded. And yeah, feel free to ask anything. It's important that you're clear what you're getting into before you sign up or claim a spot in the challenge. And I'll be there to support you before that. We're kicking off on the 17th of August. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in there if you wish to join. And I'll speak to you soon.